You're not the man you were. Something broke you. Betrayal, failure, loss, humiliation. Whatever it was, it shattered the version of yourself you thought was solid. And now you're trying to rebuild from pieces you don't recognize. Most advice tells you to stay positive or find yourself. That's useless when you're broken. The Stoics knew better. They faced the kind of breaks that would destroy most men and developed 5 specific lessons that don't just help you recover. They help you become stronger at the broken places. Today, I'm showing you exactly what they are. The first lesson: fractus non finitus. Broken is not finished. You're broken. That's different from being destroyed. Marcus Aurelius watched his empire crumble. 8 of his 13 children died. His most trusted general betrayed him. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He was broken repeatedly, never finished. Broken means the structure you built collapsed. The identity you held shattered. The path you walked ended. Finished means you have no capacity to rebuild, redefine, or restart. You're reading this, you're still thinking, you're still breathing, you're broken, not finished. That distinction is everything. Last year, I was broken. Business failed. Relationship ended. Savings gone. Identity collapsed. I genuinely believed I was finished, that this was the permanent state. Then I recognized I was confusing broken with finished. Broken is temporary state. Finished is permanent condition. I was in temporary state, treating it as permanent condition. That's what made it unbearable. Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction." You're being polished right now. The friction breaks you. It doesn't finish you. Practice. Say out loud, "I am broken. I am not finished." Feel the difference between those statements. One acknowledges pain. One asserts capacity. The second lesson: praeteritum immutabile. The past is unchangeable, so stop fighting it. You're broken because something happened, and you're spending enormous energy wishing it hadn't happened, replaying it differently, asking what if. Epictetus taught, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." The past is not in your power. You cannot change it. Every moment you spend wishing you could is a moment stolen from rebuilding. You wish they hadn't betrayed you. They did. You wish you hadn't failed. You did. You wish you hadn't lost them. You did. The wishing doesn't change anything. It only prevents you from using what is in your power. Your response now: 3 months ago, I kept replaying my business failure. If only I'd seen that warning sign. If only I'd made that different decision. Every replay weakened me. It kept me living in unchangeable past rather than changeable present. Then I applied this lesson. The past happened exactly as it happened. My wishing it different doesn't alter history. It only wastes present energy. I stopped replaying. Started asking, given that this happened, what do I do now? That shift from wishing past was different to addressing present reality is where healing actually begins. Marcus Aurelius: confine yourself to the present, not because the past doesn't matter, because it's the only place your power actually exists. Practice. When you catch yourself replaying the past, say, "That happened. It's unchangeable. What's my next move?" Redirect from past to present immediately. The third lesson: identitas fluida. Your identity is fluid, not fixed. You're broken because your identity collapsed. You were the successful guy until you failed, the trusted one until betrayal, the strong one until you broke. The identity you built has been destroyed. That's why this hurts so much. But here's what the Stoics knew: that identity was never solid. It was always fluid. You just hadn't recognized it yet. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Your old identity ended. That's painful, it's also necessary for new identity to form. You are not fixed. You are constantly becoming. The man you were is not the man you must remain. Last month, I caught myself saying, I used to be confident. Now I'm broken. Then I recognized the error. I was treating confident as my permanent identity and broken as my permanent state. Both are temporary conditions. I was confident then, I'm broken now. Neither defines me permanently. The Stoic recognizes, I am the process, not the state. I am becoming, not being. Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your identity collapse. That happened. How you react. You treat it as death of self, or death of one version of self, determines everything. Practice. Complete this sentence differently each day. Today, I am becoming, not I am, just I am becoming. Your identity is always in motion. The fourth lesson. Auxilium recusare. Refusing help extends your suffering unnecessarily. When broken, men isolate. I need to handle this alone. I can't burden others. I should be strong enough to fix myself. This is pride disguised as strength, and it prevents healing. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, had advisors, philosophers, physicians. He didn't pretend he needed no help. He recognized that accepting help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Seneca wrote, associate with those who will make a better man of you. When you're broken, you need people who've survived being broken. Their perspective helps you rebuild. Their presence reminds you that broken isn't finished. 2 months ago, I was deep in isolation, convinced I needed to figure this out alone. That accepting help meant I was truly weak. Then I recognized every Stoic philosopher had teachers, students, friends. They didn't heal in isolation. They healed in community of people committed to wisdom. I reached out to 3 people who'd survived similar breaks, not for comfort, for perspective. They shared their rebuilding process, what worked, what didn't, how long it took, what the other side looked like. That information was the difference between wandering in darkness and walking a difficult but visible path. Epictetus, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Pride says, I must appear strong. Wisdom says, I must actually heal, even if that means admitting I need help. Practice. Identify one person who survived what broke you. Ask them one question. What helped you most? That's not weakness. That's strategy. The fifth lesson. Fortitudo in vulnerabilitate. True strength is found in vulnerability, not in pretending you're unbreakable. The broken man hides his brokenness, pretends he's fine, maintains the facade that nothing touched him. This prevents healing entirely. Marcus Aurelius kept a journal where he admitted his struggles, fears, and weaknesses. That journal, his meditations, became one of history's most powerful texts. Not because he pretended to be unbreakable, because he was honest about being broken and committed to healing anyway. Seneca wrote to friends openly about his exile, his fears, his pain. His letters became teaching tools precisely because they were vulnerable. Epictetus taught students by sharing his own suffering under slavery. His vulnerability made his wisdom credible. Last week someone asked how I was. My instinct, fine, all good. Then I applied this lesson. Honestly, I'm rebuilding from something that broke me. It's slow, but I'm making progress. That vulnerability did 3 things. First, it removed the exhausting performance of being fine when I wasn't. Second, it gave them permission to be honest about their own struggles. Third, it created actual connection, rather than surface-level interaction. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's refusal to lie about your reality. That refusal is strength. Practice. Once this week, when someone asks how you are, tell the truth. I'm healing from something difficult. It takes time. Watch how that honesty changes the interaction. Integration. These 5 lessons work as complete healing system. Practice, non finitis. You're broken, not finished. You still have capacity. Praeteritum immutabili. The past is unchangeable. Stop fighting it. Address present. Identitas fluida. Your identity is fluid. Old version died, new version is forming. Auxilium recusare. Refusing help extends suffering. Seek wisdom from those who've healed. Fortitudo in vulnerabilitate. Strength is found in vulnerability. Stop pretending. Start healing. Together they create path from broken to rebuilt. Not back to who you were, forward to who you're becoming. The ancient Stoics were broken men who became wise men, not by avoiding pain, but by processing it. Marcus Aurelius was broken by grief, betrayal, and war. He became philosophy's warrior sage. Epictetus was broken by slavery and disability. He became the teacher of emperors. Seneca was broken by exile and persecution. He became the voice of resilient wisdom. They showed us, being broken is not the end. It's the beginning of becoming something stronger. You're broken. That's real. That's painful. That's temporary. You're not finished. Your capacity remains. Your healing has already begun by reading this. Apply these 5 lessons. You won't go back to who you were. You'll become who you're meant to be. Subscribe to Stoic Forge for wisdom that rebuilds what breaks. Share with a broken man who needs to hear this. Remember, broken isn't finished. You're still becoming. Thanks for watching. See you next time.